And we're live.
We're live. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Ardy and Fist. Ardy and Fist, Ardy and Fist. You can be assured we're both on a list. We're working on the jingle. It'll come together. It'll come together. We are.
Don't pin that on me. That was all you. All right.
Yeah. No, look. It's fine. I'm clearly the musical half of the duo. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having an excellent night, and I hope you are ready for some brain pain, for some particularly newish brain pain tonight. We are going to be talking about Saul Alinsky, the man you invite into your city to mess things up, the communist, the author of Rules for Radicals, the man who did more damage to America than even Barack Obama, who was,
that was his
a big
boy.
student of his.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
that's when you were really. What a lot of people don't realize is that now we call them communists. Back then, you could be such a communist, and if you weren't a card-carrying member of the Communist Party, they called you a fellow traveler. No matter how socialist, communist, and whatnot. Like there was even they named an airport. LaGuardia Airport is named after Fiorello LaGuardia, who was a Republican socialist in like 1935. So these terms were very fluid back then.
I think you could say that the 60s and the birth of the new left, Marcuse and, all those happy chuckle fucks were basically sort of the birth of what is now kind of like neo-communism. Do you know what I mean, right? Because, back in the day, right, like people thought of communism as the USSR, right? Right, if you're a commie, you're like, you have the hammer and sickle and all that kind of other stuff. And the 60s sort of like brought this sort of like new version of like same kind of communist tactic, basically using stuff like Gramsci, just straight up subversion, really, right? Where most people in the West, when they thought of communism, they thought of sort of the established system of the USSR. They didn't think of the Bolsheviki back in the in 1918 in the Russian Revolution, right? But revolutionary communism, right? The stuff that you do to destabilize society to get you to the bit where you get to like impose like the authoritarian hellhole is a very, very different beast, right? To the actual
Western.
Outcome,
you see in the East, it's very Western. You see in the East they would just try and take over and just go for it. But in the West it was much more subversive. You have your Fabian socialist. You have they kind of realized that the West and capitalism, it was tough for the conditions to be so bad and so poor that they would actually revolt. They were like, damn, this isn't going to work. We can't make even through the Great Depression, they were like, shit, that didn't do it. We got to change our strategy in the West. That's how good the West is.
Yeah. And not only that, the middle class, of course, was a massive stabilizing factor. Right. This is one of the reasons why the commies fucking hate the middle class. Right. Because as long as, people are like, I got a job, I got a Weber grill, I got a couple of kids, I got football on the TV. Someone comes up and is like, how would you like to do a communist revolution? It's going to be great. They're like, look, man, I got to go to work. The Steelers game is on. I got to like take my daughter to school.
Well, so
could you just fuck off?
They realized this, I mean, in the 40s. They explicitly were talking about how they'll see flames from a distance and be so terrified that they're not going to want to leave their house, or that the patriarch of the household was going to have to leave his family and children alone to go and help what was going on. So this has been since the 40s, at least, that they've been implementing an above and below strategy. Now,
I have to say, leaving the wife and kids at home does sound like something the commies would be really into. They'd be like, "Oh, your wife and kids are at home alone, are they?"
Now, why are you
cutting off their genitals,
Mr. Fist? Why are you making the commies sound like that? Do all commies sound like that?
I don't know, man. Like, it's just this accent I do. It doesn't mean anything particularly. For some reason, it just springs into my mind. I can't help it. I suppose I could do a shitty Russian accent if you want, but we're not really talking about Soviet communism, right? We're talking about
it's blue-haired
neo-Marxism.
Communism. It's gay communism. Neo-Marxism is gay communism, because there's even streamers like Destiny and Vosh will like say they're bisexual, but they only really harass women whenever they have a sex trauma. It's like, oh, where's all the guys you're harassing if you're bisexual? Oh, no, dude, trust me. Dick, delicious. And it's like, I think I need to see one of you guys actually suck a dick for me to believe you. You have to be, in order to be cool, you have to at least be bisexual. You can't be straight if you're on the left.
It's not just gay communism. It's also race communism, right? Let's not forget all of the great things that race communism has brought to us, right?
It really started with race communism.
BLM, we was Kangs.
Oh, Malcolm X. We haven't actually showed the Malcolm X and GLR on here, have we?
No, we haven't. We need to do an episode on George Lincoln Rockwell. I think that would be sort of cool. I was amazed.
The algorithm would love that. The algorithm would love that. Not a contentious character at all.
Not a contentious character at all, right? He was just a man a man with a great love for his country, and spicy views on certain people, right? Like, I mean, is that enough to condemn someone in the eyes of history?
Yeah, how you explain him is how the left always explains communists. Completely watered down, very approachable, very PG-oriented description of a person.
Look, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, he did outreach with the black community.
You want to just pull it up?
Sorry?
Do you want to just pull it up?
I don't know. Have I got it in the? Have we got it in the archive?
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick.
All right. Send it to me over Telegram.
Now, what's so important about this clip is these are historically painted as two polar opposites, right? Like these guys, there's no way they possibly got along at all whatsoever.
Well, I mean, actually, I don't know. They both had similar goals, right? They were both segregationists, fundamentally, right? They both wanted, well, I mean, you're not really allowed to say it anymore, right? Like, why would anyone in this day and age want any kind of separation between peoples, right? We're the melting pot now, and it's all awesome, and I mean, and it's true, right? It's true.
Can you just give a brief overview of who George Lincoln Rockwell was? I mean, he was Lincoln, American.
Yeah, totally, go on.
Let's say Newtsy.
Yes.
Let's go Mentis wave with it. I believe he was like the leader of the American Newtsy Party, which where'd that go? So while that was still like, this is post Hitler as well, if I'm not mistaken, in the United States. GLR was the guy that was like, hey, you know what? Sure, he made some mistakes, but let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. What he was doing is what the left is allowed to do with Mao, with Lenin, with Stalin, with Pol Pot, with anyone that's ever attempted any sort of communism. He was really the one man who was like, yep, got a party, got a card-carrying members, and I respect this black man over here also taking care of his people. So they always portray it as supremacy when it's really just very libertarian. it's leave me alone, non-aggression principle. And then it becomes antagonistic when it's forced integration.
It's more of a classical liberal position, really. Freedom of association, right? Like, remember when we used to have freedom of association? This clip, first time I saw it, blew my mind. Should I play it?
Go 20 seconds in.
20 seconds in. Come on. Okay, right. Let's go.
$20 from who? George Lincoln Rockwell. Go to heaven. Wait a minute. Wait a moment. Got $20 from George Lincoln Rockwell, and you got the biggest hand you ever got, didn't you, Mr. Rockwell?
Isn't there like a picture of him like sitting there?
I don't know. No, I think he's in the back. I don't know. What I do know is that he's laughing. The guy's making a donation. $20 back then is what, roughly $100, I would assume.
Yeah. No, there's a really, really famous picture of him like sitting in the crowd. basically, right? Like, you know, surrounded by his black brothers. You know,
I just find it fascinating.
Yeah. So we're here tonight to talk about Saul Alinsky, right? The neo-communist extraordinaire, the rules for radicals guy, the dude that Hillary Clinton wrote her PhD dissertation on, right? Like, you know, he's the revolutionary's revolutionary. I believe he thought of himself as an anarchist. Is that correct, Ardy?
Yeah, he's honestly not a communist, which breaks my heart to say that. So all he really cared to do with his mooish background was just hop into an area, cause absolute destruction, and walk away. And with all these community organizers, a very reoccurring theme is they're anarchists. So we have Lisa Fithian, we have Prince Shakur. So people that I've done a little bit of content on, and it just the best organizers are the anarchists, because a communist consequentialism is ideological. An anarchist's consequentialism is pragmatic. It's praxis. They want to go to this event, they want to cause destruction, and they get off on it. So usually when someone's a community organizer, they really have anarchist leanings, because by any means necessary, and they don't care what the goal is. That's why it's like, yeah, do whatever you want. Are you destroying shit or not? Yes. But people are still rolling in. Okay, so hold on. Before we do that, all right, fellas, the channel's going well. September is going to be a big month. We're going to really pump it up in September. So, you know, there's some anti-Semitic things that happen on the channel, okay? And, you know, we like to have fun here. So we might have to just dial it down a little bit. The last video was a mooish man interviewing just a bunch of white people that want to get along by themselves. So maybe we're going to have to dial it down a little bit. Mr. Fist, do you have a video we can watch in the meantime as people are just rolling in?
You mean like the Family Guy clip?
No, I mean, you know, was there a group of people that also want their own land? You know,
I think I might have something.
Because last week we were talking about there was blacks that had taken their land back. There was Muslims taking their land back, and it just seemed like only the mooish interviewers had an issue with white people taking their land back.
Well, that's because, Ardy, right? The moves would never start like their own exclusive community anywhere, right? And they certainly wouldn't just move into a country, set up somewhere, and refuse to integrate, right? I don't want to hear anyone in the chat saying that is in any way true. And meanwhile, here's that clip.
For the last few days, we have seen the birth of a Yiddish community, a Jewish community, in a place that's so new and so raw to what we're bringing to it, that you can't help but to feel inspired.
This is something that families have been resonating with for a long time.
I've been keeping my eye on other developing startup communities. And when this one came up, it was like everything I had been wanting, because I recognized it right away.
There are very few opportunities where a person can be a trailblazer, come out to somewhere where no Yiddishkeit has ever existed, and bring the Dvar Hashem to daven, to learn, to say Amen Yehesh Me'Rabba, Baruch Hu, and to connect with other Yidden.
You go through life and you get all these types of feelings, and when you start getting in tune with yourself, you can see what's a yes, what's a no, what's right.
I would make this video no differently as a goof.
Yeah, I know, right?
To incite people to light a synagogue on fire, okay?
And the music as well.
So
it's like a very own Game of Thrones.
It's like they already won. They already did it. Keep going.
I mean, like, here comes trouble if you're in South Carolina.
What's not right?
The world became a fast place, and this is a way to choose to slow it down a little bit.
To spend a little bit of time with these visionaries and to connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom in a sviva like this it's incredible.
Shafa to me is a true connection to yourself, to your children, at a slower pace of life where everything truly means something to you.
The life that everyone is so deeply yearning for, and it's really difficult to find in the major cities and where the main hubs of Jewish life are today.
The minute we started driving up here, I felt like relaxed, like we're slowly starting to like shut down all the city tabs in my head and just breathe, and my mental space was like I'm feeling it, you know?
The beauty is that everyone's searching for the same thing. They're searching for more meaning for their children, more meaning for themselves and their life, being connected with nature. That's what they want.
They're acting like they created
We're looking to build 358 homes here. We're already looking to expand our land so we can build even.
Well, I mean, in a way, right? I mean, Hashem created it, right? They are the children of Hashem. So, they sort of, they own it by proxy, mate, right? Like,
The fucking founder's name is gross. Are you kidding me? That's an accident. That's an accident that he fucking looks like that, and he's named that, and he's doing this in my country. All of that's a coincidence. Mr. Fist, I'm trying to dial this down, and you're going to show me a video like this, all right? I'm trying to dial it down. I think you're one of them right now, trying to make me pop my head.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ardy. It's a perfectly wholesome video of a bunch of Yiddim moving to America to discover like a new land that is not owned by anybody else, given to them by Hashem.
They act like they came up with it. They're like, when you go outside, I mean, aside from the allergies, but it's really nice. Things slow down. You can hear yourself think. Like, yeah, it's like New Hampshire. Like, yeah,
South Carolina.
Yeah, and it's like they see that and they go, we should make this ours, and no one steps in the way. Nobody gets in the way of it at all whatsoever. The world is made for them.
I am absolutely sure they will not cause any conflict with any other communities around them.
No, they'll just keep spreading like a fungus.
This is going to be a vibrant, thriving Jewish community built on the foundation of Torah and Avodas Hashem.
We have our first 20 families now. We're going to have another 60 in the next few months, and this is going to grow into an amazing community all the way up there, all of the mountain.
I'm walking into the house right over here. This has the view of the mountain from your windows, from your living room or the office, depends on the layout. And then that's going to be your view from the master bedroom.
A lot of them didn't realize how big an acre actually is. We were looking at the markers and they're like, oh my gosh, an acre, like where does it end? So much space for kids to run around. You roll the ball, it just keeps going.
On the weekends, you're going on hikes, you're taking your kids fishing, there's boats, there's lakes, there's a million and one things to do. You're in one of the most lush areas in the entire country.
Everyone is just coming from a different place, and rightfully so, but everyone just says the same thing, which is like, we're all after that village, to bring back the village.
Breakfast, lunch, everyone just like grabbing a plate, sitting down at the table, and like,
we're all just.
Did they get like paid to set this up, right? Like Evil of the 1776 is like, I bet they got grant money for this. I bet you're right.
We just look at other people's land and we go, let's just go and take it. Like, what? How? Like, am I really misconstruing what was just said?
Look, you got to understand, right? Hashem gave it, right, to them, right? So, like, really, like, if you think about it.
Chatting, it's like the connection was instant. Because you know that the families that are all here are all in the same mindset.
We all just want that same thing. We all just want to build a family together.
Oh my God, dude, pause this.
A tangible energy.
I could easily cut out all the mooish stuff from this and just put white families in there and have them cut a promo for Return to the Land. I think I have to do that.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like just the sheer rank hypocrisy. Like where is the ADL, right? Talking about, right, like, the danger of these ethno-nationalist communities wanting to like live by themselves in South Carolina. I mean, it sounds a bit sinister. If you ask me, fucking.
Well, it's like, does anyone own the land currently?
No, I'm pretty sure they bought it out. Like, I mean, it's, it looks like it's basically.
Dude, they're going from 20 families to, what do you say, 60 in the next few months?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, all the shit that's going down in Israel at the moment, I'm not surprised.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a bit of a diaspora, going on, and particularly as well because the Haredim, the Orthodox curly fries dudes, the Israeli government is trying to draft them. And I believe they basically said, oh, look, you can't leave the country. You got to join the army. And they're trying to like do the whole like Ukraine sort of, recruitment bus thing, where they like just drive around, but they're not getting very many of them. It's such a weird dynamic, right? If you think about it, right? Like the Israeli government driving around in buses trying to like kidnap Haredi to draft them into the army, to send them into fucking like whose side are you supposed to be on? Like when they write the Schindler's List like movie about this, right? Like
they are defenselessly driving around in unmarked vans, abducting people off of the street. Okay, how dare you take away their victimhood status in any capacity, no matter what they're doing?
But I mean, but like. It's just so weird. Like the first thing that came to my mind, right, when I heard about them trying to like forcibly draft the Haredi, is like, surely they've got like tunnels and stuff, right, to hide in.
Now, let me ask you a question: are you laughing because you're trying to be funny, or are you laughing because you're legitimately serious?
I don't know.
Like, right? Because it's fucking believable. Even making a joke right now, you might just say the truth. That's how ridiculous it's getting.
I just don't know, man. Right? Like,
we're supposed to forget about the tunnels in New York City. We're supposed to forget about that.
I mean,
all right. Okay,
I mean, my understanding was that the tunnels were to like protect them from persecution, right? When they're in like other countries, but like, now, if technically the Israeli government is their persecutor, they're going to like dig tunnels to hide from the Zionists. Oh, mate, I don't know. This is getting very, very confusing is all I'm saying. Right?
Did you ever hear about the guy that was complaining about hearing people speaking Yiddish in his walls in New York City like 9 months before this was figured out? And then once this came out, he was like, I fucking knew it. And then he showed him tweeting about it for like a year. Being like, I swear to God, I'm hearing Yiddish in my walls and I'm not crazy. And that man has more vindication than anybody.
Yeah, I covered that at the time. Like, just hilarious, mate. Right, right. Let's finish this.
Come from people coming together around a shared vision and a shared experience and a shared aspiration.
Everyone's looking to create a beautiful new life for themselves, and I think that shared vision will enable it to be successful.
The truth is, everybody that comes here has their own daya, their own vision, and they want to connect to their inner selves. That's difficult to do when you've got the hustle bustle of the world around you. And I think it's an opportunity for everybody to really be in tune with what it is that they really want to do.
I think the people that have the courage and then the atzmas to go ahead and do this now are not only going to find it that's worth their while, but they're going to look back and be very grateful that they made those first steps. And our only job at Chef Living is to make sure they make those first steps and they make that courageous jump. And they believe in our vision, but not just here to sell a house, here to support the growth of the community.
If you want to live life like a pioneer, and if you want to do something exciting in life, this is a great opportunity to jump in.
Imagine moving to a place where you have 50, 100 people you can talk to, who relate to you. You're on the same level. You want the same things for your children. That is something that I don't think you're going to find anywhere else in the world.
Dude, imagine if I cut that over the Return to the Land guys working on stuff in the fucking field.
Yeah, it's exactly the same argument that Return to the Land was making, right? I guess they're probably not communists, so at least there's that, right? Like, if they're just Haredi that just want to be like left alone, like fucking.
Oh, dude, but here's the best part: they're inclusive. I'm sure everyone's invited, right? Are the gay blacks invited? We heard that question being asked by a move interviewing them last time, right? What about the gays? What about
the gays? What about the Muslims, right?
Yeah.
Like, what about the?
Are they also invited?
No. Are the Christians invited? Right?
Where's the 13-person media crew shoving cameras in their faces as they're making matzah, going, "Oh, do you have enough for the blacks next door? Where's the closest black to you?" They drive 45 minutes away. They tell some black person that they're, I don't know, drinking baby's blood or whatever it is that they do. And she's like, "Oh, that sounds terrible. This just doesn't exist in the inversion of what we watched last week.
Yeah,
I'm already getting mad. Okay, let's go back in history. Whisk me away.
So although, right, that particular group probably aren't commies, this guy certainly is. He's the well, again, as you were saying, he was an anarchist, supposedly.
Yes.
Right?
And this is a very consistent theme throughout history. There's usually a Mooish man, if you want to go to X, softly speaking into the ear of the black revolutionary. Isn't that right, Mr. Fist? Oftentimes throughout history.
Oftentimes throughout, and might I add,
I'm going to pull it up on X in the Family Guy clip.
Not just throughout history, but you even see that this stuff today. Actually, wait, where's the? Oh my God, do I not have this tweet up? Oh God, sorry about that, mate. Where is it?
I got you. I can send it to you and then just scroll up.
Yep, no, I got it. I got it.
Cool.
Right. Okay. So we're going down.
So
which one is it?
Scroll up.
Uh-huh.
So click on that first picture. So who do we have here?
MLK with his Jewish handler Stanley Levinson.
Okay, there's one example.
Who was the actual author of the I have a dream that one day America will be subverted and we will all live in racial antagonisms.
Wait a minute. You tell me that wasn't written by a black man? Tell me some honky-ass Jew on that shit?
That sounds like cultural appropriation to me, bro, right? Like, I'm not the expert, right? But, like, I don't know, right? Like, you know, a Mooish man writing, you know, the most famous black speech. I mean, isn't that cultural appropriation? I mean, they get angry if you wear, like, braids.
No, actually, they'd be angry about that. It's not cultural appropriation because all the toxic aspects of black American culture are directly created by the Moos. Not the Moors, by the Mooish people, okay? That's actually Moo culture. They created it. I can prove it. Who's the next one?
Black Panther, Huey Newton with his Mooish handler, Dr. Benjamin Spock, although we can't see the full picture there.
You can just take our word for it, all right?
No, look, it's true, right? The involvement of the Mooish people in the U.S. civil rights movement is very, very well documented. They were there at all the critical points. The Selma bus, the bus riots, wasn't it? Like when Rosa Parks did all that like stuff, and she was like, I will not give up my seat. And everyone was like, oh my God, right? Like they were there at every step.
There's two examples. Do we have a third example?
Do we have a third example?
You gonna play it? You can just play what's there, the video.
Right, okay.
As a man who has been preaching power for years, Saul Alinsky, a white Jew, finds himself in the middle of the Black Revolution.
Change must come. Dude, it never gets old. It never gets old. I love it. He literally had to say that in the documentary. So scroll down. So this is done so much that it's literally a trope. No, just show more replies.
Show replies.
Show replies.
Show replies. All right.
So this is such a trope. Scroll down.
Oh yeah.
This is such a trope. This happens so much throughout history that it's a Family Guy trope.
This is fucking awesome.
Oh, look how low I've sunk. Taking credit for something a smart Jewish person did.
Oh, that's okay, Pete.
No. People have been doing that for too damn long.
It is the white devil that has propagated, exacerbated, instigated. Line.
Instigated our hatred like a Buick. God, wait, what was I thinking when I agreed to this? This is so degrading. This is worse than the time I was at the Friars Club and Sunyi's retainer fell out of my pants.
So this isn't even a controversial topic as far as I'm concerned, okay? That's a liberal elite making that joke.
Oh, it's my hatred like a Buick.
Oh, God, what was I thinking?
What was I thinking? Right. Are we going on to Better Call?
We're ready.
Better Call Saul?
Alinsky. Now we're ready. Now we're lubed up. Now we got those puckers all juicy.
Ready to slide right in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get ready with that pause button.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
And starts praying for the salvation of mankind and doesn't do a damn thing but sits there and prays. I think that according to my conception of God, that when that guy comes up for judgment, that the judge is going to sit there and say, "Why, you cruddy bastard."
You cannot tell me he believes in God, right? Like, you know, there's literally...
He's going to be working with churches. It's funny you say that because he's going to be working very closely with churches.
That's like that meme, you know what I mean, right? Like, oh no, I'm not a Christian and I like think your beliefs are like stupid, but like maybe if I like try and use them against you, you'll do what I want, you know?
Yeah, it's that in the most harmful, actual, literal form. It's outside of the meme.
You've got to get away from all of this reconciliation jazz and all this friendship and all that kind of business in this world. Reconciliation in this world means only one thing. When one side gets enough power so the other side gets reconciled to it, then you got reconciliation. Then you got peace and love, and then you got a dialogue going on.
Jesus, fuck, dude.
Machiavellian.
Saul David Alinsky has been described as the man you invite into your city to bust up the joint. He is an apostle of power. He hires himself out to the poor and the oppressed. Operating out of a suitcase, he has been working his beat for 30 years.
There are things...
Wait, I got a question, right? Yeah. How does he hire himself out to the poor, right? Aren't the poor, like, poor? Like, how much do they pay him, right? Like, what... Is he like, I start revolutions for a very reasonable fee?
Yes!
Unironically! From my brother.
Does it make sense? I know it's funny, but do you think it's the truth? So, yeah, where does the money come from? Probably NGOs?
Yeah, probably.
Where the money always comes from?
Before, like, NGOs or, like, sort of the structure that they are now, right? Like, probably, like, charities or whatever they call them fucking back in the day. You know what I mean?
You want, it comes down very simply. Do you want them? If you want them, you have to go out and get them. If you want to go out and get them, there are only certain ways that you...
He instructs poor people in the arts of political protest and sends them out against the establishment to do battle for a better life. He has been called the wandering Jewish Robin Hood and a no-good son of a bitch. He has preached his uncompromising gospel to immigrants.
Wait. Robin Hood robbed from the rich to give to the poor, right? And the specific sort of thing about Robin Hood is unjust taxation. I don't see him like, I mean, he's just agitating the poor to like steal shit from the rich, I guess, or like burn stuff down.
He's literally called the father of community organizing. What he's doing is community organizing. When they do it, they give it a different word. And then they write that in the history books. And then their opposition, they tarnish them as, you know, pejoratives. That's how that goes.
So if whites were doing it, it would be called fascism, basically.
I'm pretty sure whites did it, and they were just, you know, okay. I don't think they would have had to have put on hoods and terrorized society if they could just be who they wanted to be. That's all I'm saying, okay? There's been a lot of antagonization for a long time. There is a lot of our fellow citizens that wouldn't have had to have swung from branch to branch because of the racial tension if they can just blow off some steam. That's all I'm saying.
Wetbacks and Canadian Indians.
As I told you before, this is a kind of...
Oh my God, Canadian Indians, huh?
Well, wait until you see who made this video and the group that he's talking to. I got little bombs to drop on you for later on.
Canadian Indians, huh? Gee, I feel like I've heard something about that recently, like that group like massively destabilizing Canadian society.
This is made in Canada.
Oh, really?
A Canadian broadcast company made this.
Jeez.
That the white society would love to see you do, because they know you're not going anywhere. And it means that they can go on doing what they want without being concerned about making any changes.
You don't
They'd
think
love to see all the
white
Negroes in America living on their reserves.
Well, you know, you seem like a man who has no love or none of these feelings or anything, isn't sensitive.
I have a hell of a lot more love than you have, because I'm willing to go out and get corrupted for it. I'm willing to fight for it. I'm willing to stick my life on the line on it. And you're just willing to stick around and talk about love and hippies and not do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna press X to doubt on that.
Well,
he doesn't look like a man who has a lot of love in his heart. He looks like a man who's like consumed by hatred, honestly. Look at those fucking bulging eyes.
He looks like the bug man from Men in Black, where he needs sugar water.
He looks a bit like the aliens from Mars Attacks. You know what
Yes. But so here's the thing, is that he has love because he's willing to get corrupted for it. Okay, that's love for a cause. That's not love for a human. That's not love for human beings. He has love for a cause that he then walks away from once he lights the match and throws it and the kindling and walks away. Can you believe a moo would call that love?
This sounds
like a mooish love story where I love more than you do, as he walks away with an explosion going off behind him, and he actually believes what he's saying.
Here, boy, take this can of gasoline and hide it somewhere. It sounds very, very Frankist to me, honestly, right? You know, like just setting stuff on fire, like, you know, basically for no reason. This guy's basically an arsonist, except even worse, because instead of just setting buildings on fire, he gets other people to do it. Woof.
He does have very female yeah, I have. User has been banned for naughty words in the chat, says he's got the crazy eyes that are common with female types.
Yeah.
You know, if we've ever had some good pussy, we've seen that look, okay?
Yep. Send Parker
That's crazy pussy. Yeah. Parker, definitely.
Yeah, but that's not true.
Much of his work today is in a more explosive environment.
Wait, we got a super chat. First super chat of the night. Name the Dynamic. Great show, homos. Thank you very much, Name the Dynamic. I very much appreciate that.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
we'll make sure to buy another shrimp for the Barbie.
We'll try to switch accents sometimes and see if anyone can tell, okay?
Wait, we got another super chat. Deadpool Kid. Oh, good to see you, Deadpool Kid, for $5. Does anyone remember that Starburst commercial about a contradiction like Scott's Korean?
Do you know what he's talking about?
I do not.
Hold on. I have a 10-second window to find it, or else we have to not even care about it. No, we got it. Just go to YouTube and type in Scottish Korean. It's very quick. It's a 30-second commercial.
Okay. Let me see. Scottish Korean, huh? Okay.
And it's Starburst. And actually 16 seconds probably.
Scottish Korean Starburst. Here we go.
Look at this! One contradiction eating another!
What do you mean?
You're Scotch Korean. You don't make a wee bit of sense. And neither does Starburst. Starburst is a solid, yet juicy, like a liquid.
You're right.
Of course I'm right. Look, there's another contradiction. It's Timmy, the albino lifeguard. Hey, Timmy, grab a Starburst.
Different times.
What?
Different
What
times.
The fuck?
That was me at 14 being like, I want candy now. No subtext to it. Like, that is funny. That is weird. Great chat.
Okay, very strange.
This is what the great Negro writer James Baldwin has called the howling North American wilderness.
Oh, yeah, they look like
This
they're
is
howling.
America in the 1960s. The marches, the sit-ins, and then rioting, destruction, and death. The Negroes of America have decided that 100 years after Abe Lincoln, they are still the slave of the white man.
Man, the cops didn't fuck around back then. They actually had like guns and shit.
Dude,
wasn't like
because what they were going through was unprecedented. and I made a video about this it's 1935. Was really the first case of the quote-unquote sociologists, which were Marxist influenced. They used Marxism, they used sociology as a syringe to inject Marxism into their analyzation of these quote-unquote race riots. And then they started to say that this is because of their material conditions to justify their behavior. So this is like 30 years of that shit happening and everyone getting normalized to it, where it's like, well, they're not being treated very fair, so they have to do the equivalent of $1 million in damage and only loot about 250 stores because they're just not being treated fairly, you know?
Yeah. And let's not forget like how bad shit got, right? Like the move bombings and the Weatherman, and like it just fucking spiraled out of control.
Completely organically. The Weatherman.
Completely organically. Yeah, exactly.
Weathermen. I'm terrified to look up their heritage. I'm terrified. Where there's smoke, there's fire, okay? And I don't think my little Guido heart can handle it.
So the brothers cried, freedom now. And they even tried to be nice about it. They cried, please, freedom now. But earlier in the 1960s, there emerged a new order on the stage. The order of Black Power. And that was...
Black Power! Why did blacks suddenly get to say that? I don't understand.
If you look real close, if you could like enhance, this wolf is salivating right now, watching what he's watching.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm surprised he's not reading it off of like some sort of teleprompter going, yup, that's what I told him to say. Good, Black Power, yup.
Yep. Go on, my oppressed black brother. Destroy the white.
No, I'm just over here to help them because they're not being treated very fairly, you know?
I'm quite the humanitarian, really.
Yes! That's how he's billed today.
The cry to affect change, those ills.
As a man who has been preaching power for years, Saul Alinsky, a white Jew, finds himself in the middle of the Black Revolution.
Change must come. So now,
white Jew.
Change must come. It's
white
exactly
Jew.
The same shit that we heard during the last revolution, right? Like with the change. Like, what do you mean change, right? Like, just change. Just justice, right? Like, can you be more specific? No.
Well, this is right around the I think this might be a few years after the Civil Rights Act was just passed and the Hart-Celler Act was passed and the Voting Rights Act was passed. So, as always, it's through a benevolent, humanitarian seeming effort. But so, for example, the Voting Rights Act gave black people the right to vote, okay? You go, well, you have to be racist if you disagree with that. Do you want to know how they did it? It got rid of the literacy requirement to vote in the Voting Rights Act.
Right,
so,
yeah, because
it's like the Patriot Act. It did a couple of other things outside of the title.
And now we're like at the position where like in the UK they're going to lower the voting age to like 16.
Are they really going to do that?
Basically, you could be a drooling retard and
are
still vote.
Are they actually going to lower the age of 16?
Well, they said they're going to do it. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, look, the basic. I think the plan basically, right, is to ban the internet for anyone under 16, right? Yeah. Massively amp up the education propaganda like system. I don't know how much more it could be amped up.
Yeah, we're talking about Russia right now, right?
And then literally the year that you get access to the internet is also the year that you can vote, right? Oh, wow, I finally get to go onto the internet. Wow, I'm so full of like love, like communism sounds like a great idea. I'm going to vote for Labour. The question is though, right? Can they really do this? Because, a lot of the young'uns are, how can I put this delicately, drifting to the right somewhat. They're not terribly happy with the current circumstances, where of course they really should be,
Let's go back to a more peaceful time, okay? Where my own countrymen were being taught to hate me for generations, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
The call has been Black Power. This called erupted and shook every house, including the White House.
Well, I gotta be a White House.
From Watts to New York City. From New York to Mississippi, because one thing that it meant that black folk were getting together for business. Now, I am for integration, but I am for integration when two equals meet and decide that it's necessary.
Right.
Wait. Then why did you need to use force to do it?
So right there, that I support that, right? Do you support that? Like, okay, you should be consented. It shouldn't be governed. But of course he can say this. I'm pretty sure this is taking place after the Civil Rights Act. I'm pretty sure once they already got what they wanted, then this is what they always do. Once they get what they want, then they'll moderate their language totally.
I wonder if this was after they did the forced school integrations.
Well, that rolled out. And dude, I think it's called the Orangeburg Massacre in like 1968. There was these black activists that were like, we want to go in this bowling alley. And this is in the South. They were like, we don't care what the law is. We don't want you in here. So they were like, okay, fine. So we're going to do a bonfire on the street. The cops were called and they just fucking mowed down the black people in like 1968. They just came by and fucking mowed them down. And the newspaper was like super neutral in covering it. Okay. It was not an easy transition with the government mandated integration. I'll tell you that much.
I was taught in school that it was just all like totally peaceful. I mean, obviously there were, some bad white people, right? The blacks, of course, never did anything wrong. But that's why everything's going so well today, right? Like,
well, that's what they do is that they go further and further and further, and then they go, it's a sunk cost fallacy. It's pretty embarrassing to do all of this and go, maybe we should start going. You can't. That's why they get people in a heightened state of emotion. So they do really embarrassing things, and then or blackmail, and then they can't go back. I mean, that's why they rely on heightened emotion.
They could have had Malcolm X up on stage, right? being very based, right? Like it just being like, integration is like a bad idea, right? Like, we got a super chat. Big Chris for $2.
BC.
Our parents totally own no ships, Mr. Blackman. Shit. Thanks very much. Yeah,
in the aftermath of race riots, American cities turned to Alinsky. This delegation from Dayton, Ohio, a city rocked by 3 nights of violence, is trying to decide whether they want Alinsky's particular brand of medicine.
Blessed are the poor. I don't know what the hell's blessed about them. I came out of a poor neighborhood. It's a most stinking mess. You just want to get away from it, if you can. And there's nothing about being poor, nothing about, and I'm sure I told you this before, about being discriminated against, being segregated and so forth. There's nothing in those things that endow you with any special qualities of nobility, justice, charity, or wisdom. To assume that an organizer goes into a community like a blank blotter and that it's the whole program that comes out just out of the people themselves is another romantic myth. If an organizer doesn't have any idea what to do about it, he hasn't got any damn business being in there.
Okay, so that's
very Christian
very
position,
important.
Clearly.
So that's very, very important that the organizer knows what to do for these other people. However, what you're doing for those other people has to seem like it's coming from them, as you'll see how he twists this. Because the way he just made that seem is that he knows what's going on, he tells them what to do. That is not, there's a small grooming process that happens. It's not just he goes in there and tells them what to do. Because he's loving.
I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. I need to up my dose of noticinol, clearly.
I've got good organizers, I've got to pay them well. And furthermore, I want to pay them well because they have enough domestic tensions without the financial situation coming into it.
Alinsky's small band of 12 organizers.
Where's he getting his money from? Like,
he just
what,
appeared one day and started doing this. It's the same thing with Lisa Fithian, another anarchist, and she goes around the country training people. That's her job. She's literally called, like, of course, her credit on like Wikipedia or something. What is it? A protest consultant is what she's called.
Oh,
that's allowed. That's allowed. Someone asked who trained the organizer. This is genetic mooery is what I would call it. Just allowed to fester and be secularized and not focus on a god, but just focus on destruction. He very much came up with it. He has some associations with Paulo Freire. I know that. So he has some loose associations with other names with communists. He aligned with communists because who else was going to be out there doing this stuff? They were the ones that were out there causing chaos. So he very much aligned with them. He aligned with them ideologically, but just like everybody, just like Hillary Clinton, just like Barack Obama, they go, we like what Saul Alinsky was saying, but we just don't agree with his methods. And what do you think Saul Alinsky said about Karl Marx? I see what Karl Marx is saying. I just don't quite agree with some of his methods and outcomes in the end. Can we say that about anybody on the right? Anybody. This is the next video, by the way, that I'm making. I'm starting it tonight.
Funny how that works. Funny, like, is it the methods you disagree with, or is it the fact that those methods basically collapsed an entire country? Right? You're like, look, what if we could just undermine the foundations of a country and not have it collapse? Maybe just like shave it down a little bit, you know?
There's nothing more champagne socialist. There's nothing more champagne socialist than, I think I'll take a little bit of Mao and, ooh, is that a little bit of Stalin? Yes, they're just little hors d'oeuvres they're picking at the party. We'll just take a little bit of that.
Canapé communism.
Are scattered across America, carrying the gospel into the various communities that call for help. First, the oppressed minority must be organized into a cohesive power bloc. Then it must isolate a specific enemy.
Putting the mayor on the spot. You'll have trouble flushing out this top leadership.
These organizers are mounting a campaign in Buffalo.
Mohawk. They'll probably hide behind their public relations and industrial relations departments. But it's important that your people understand what you're going into. It's going to be a long, hard battle. And what you're really waiting is for them to make their mistake, which in the Kodak case was when they tore up the agreement. No. The issue was over and settled.
You cut the issue, you freeze the target, and then you go to war.
There would have been no fight.
A good guy is somebody who is 100% behind you. A bad guy is anybody else.
Now, what do you think about shooting for a signed contract?
Sure.
A basic Alinsky tactic is to deal only with top management. If the enemy is City Hall, you get to see the mayor.
Fuck.
Can you believe this moo can just go straight to the manager? He can just go straight to the CEO. He just has the power to go straight to the... How? How does he have this money? How does he have these connections? Moo! What else would it be? What else is the through line? Who else could just appear out of nowhere and do that?
I want to speak to the manager right now.
The manager comes out. No, your manager's father. I want to talk to the man that made you. He just keeps going up the chain. He talks to the CEO's grandmother. Do you want to know what your grandson said to me? There's no end to it. The top. The very top.
But I didn't expect so.
Wait, we got on the super chat. Deadpool for $5. A Deadpool kid. Malcolm X would have whooped Saul before he stepped one foot in his community. Actually, I mean,
probably right.
Have you seen that interview with Malcolm X, right, where he's being like interviewed by this guy, and he clocks him for like a moo, like immediately, right? He literally says to this guy, "You're mooish, aren't you?" Right? Like, and I don't appreciate. What does he say? He says there's a certain kind of moo that infiltrates himself into black affairs and manipulates us for their outcomes. Yeah, Malcolm X was based as fuck, mate. Like,
I love how he clocked him as if he was like on his radar, as if he was going 2 minutes per hour. Just clocked
No,
him.
it was some like media like talk show journo. You know what I mean? And
Really?
Malcolm X,
He found a
just
moo in that
goes there,
industry?
man, right? Sorry?
He found a moo in that industry, huh?
Yeah, I know. I don't think literally
Actually,
the only one. Yeah,
that
amazing.
would be good. Maybe we'll combine GLR and Malcolm X. We'll kind of do a half and half. It'll be
Actually,
interesting to see the contrast between them, not only visually, but you know.
That is a great idea because I mean, like, really, if you're going to talk about something like segregation, you've got to talk about both sides of that. You're right, you know, because you are talking about the forced integration of. Well, I mean, back then it was like 2 groups. Now it's like a bajillion groups, right? But like, yeah, you would need to cover both. Yeah.
It would also just help with the fucking algorithm. Okay, I'll put one of those guys in the title. Okay.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Many persons, however, some of you can sit here at the table, and if we speak loud enough, why, all can hear what's going on.
This is obviously going to be a major battle, you know, long.
An Alinsky organizer works behind the scenes. He gives his clients the benefit of his experience and expertise.
Schnoz
but
check.
The people must do the fighting for themselves.
Man, this guy looks like fucking Jim Jones, right? I mean, I know it was like a bit of a fashion back in the day, right? But you know, the glasses, I don't know. Am I hearing the call of a cow in the background? Farmyard sounds.
I don't know, man.
Total
Like-
blackout painting for $20 US. Thank you very much,
Jesus
Total blackout
Christ,
painting.
mate! Fucking hell!
I'm late, so here's a few shekels for your trouble. Thank you very much, Total blackout painting. I'll be sure to like put that away in the vault.
If I believed in God, I'd have him bless you, and I'll put in a good word for you for Satan to make sure he doesn't bother you. Thank you.
Dude.
And there may be a representative like Charles on my side with us, for yourself.
Well, that's for we can really start declaring war.
As of yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, my information and my contact with Mr. Light, who was handling the matter who was the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, was.
Holy shit, pause it.
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta, everyone's gotta listen. I need everyone's full attention right now. So, this black guy is gonna be making a request, okay?
Right.
And I want you to listen to what the request is and think to yourself if this is an achievable or a request that's going to have a good outcome. Continue.
Okay.
Some 916 jobs appear to be available. That includes the 600 jobs that the county is making available.
Are these jobs of a temporary or permanent nature?
I haven't got the full specifics on them. Some of them will be permanent, some will be temporary, but efforts are being made.
Well, let me at this time, Mr. Mayor, make crystal clear Bill's position on this job matter. Bill's position is that we are concerned about permanent jobs. 3,500 permanent jobs with a take-home pay of $75 with a policy of hire now and train later.
Mr. Chuck Light of the Chamber.
Wait, I gotta back this up. Fucking where's the shot of all the
So they want jobs. Did you hear what the fucking qualifier was?
Yeah, they've got to be permanent and they got to be like $75.
Yep.
Right? Like, and he wants 3,000
Yep.
and the boss is saying there's about 600 available. So they want 5 times as many jobs, and I would bet you any money.
You might have missed it. You might have missed the part. Go to like 825 if you can.
Okay.
Big Chris for $2, mate. Only God's people would say they were God's people. Right?
I mean, like, look at this lad here on screen, right? He's an engineer, right? Like, you know, probably studying to be an astronaut. God, you just see the same faces. Like, this is the crazy thing
I think his mom has a nice hat. I think his mom has a very nice hat.
I mean, no, like
he could have been one of the good
the
ones.
mama
Don't know.
looks like pretty based, right? Like, she's got that sort of like base black, like look about her. You know what I mean, right? Like the dude on the, oh, my
I
God.
don't.
Wait.
I'm not seeing that anyone caught what the ridiculous part was.
Okay, 820,
Did it slide
825.
past
Hang on,
everybody?
hang on. Okay, right. Yep, let's go.
Yeah.
3,500 permanent jobs with a take-home pay of $75 with a policy of hire now and train later.
Oh, what?
With a policy? Make sure you don't fucking train us before you give us the jobs. What are you doing? Everything was already so difficult. It was already a pie in the sky idea, and he was like, we want to go there right now and start working on the machines before we know a fucking thing. That was him negotiating, dude.
The thing is, right?
Amu had to put him up
If you give in to this demand, right? Now that they've like organized, this is basically like black Bolshevism, really, like in a sense, right? If you hire all these people, right, in this one block with these networks, right? They've got you by the balls. They could sabotage your machines, right? They could fuck up your business like literally at any point. Like, dude.
Well, I know, but it's like, hey, these people are downtrodden. They're uneducated. They smell like fucking dog shit. Let's fill them up. Let's fill your nice white business up with these people and not even train them. And when they start shitting into their hand and throwing it at each other, you're going to have to keep them employed because you promised.
How many?
Like, why is it untrained? Why is that? Like, he couldn't possibly agree to that. By the way, fellas, this does get rectified in a few minutes.
So you just start paying them, right? And then you've got to do all the training. And how many of those people like
later
can't
you train
even
them
train,
later?
Right? Oh my god!
They start the job and you train them later. That's what he said, and that's what he meant, and that might happen. That might happen. We might see a consequence of that.
All right.
Tuck Light of the Chamber of Commerce, who has been handling this phase of it, is here, as is Mr. Bob Bennett.
Mr. Mayor, we are appreciative of your hearing, but I reiterate, we will be more than happy to honor the invitation at 1 o'clock at the Chamber of Commerce with Mr. Light.
Mr. Light, are you and the Chamber willing to meet with Bill?
As I pointed out to Mr. Harmon yesterday,
The Alinsky operatives watch and advise very closely during these early stages of a new war. But once an organization is established, once it is fighting its own battles effectively, then the Alinsky men will pack up and move on.
We appreciate the hearing at this time, and we have stated our purpose in coming, and you've responded accordingly. And we thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The door is always open.
In Chicago, Alinsky's first Negro organization has been running its own show for 4 years. Their war against the slum is far from over. They fight on relentlessly, but without resort to physical violence.
Mr. Johnson, how are the rats annoyed you and the children, especially?
All right, fellas, I'm going to show you a little slab of something you're not used to seeing. You ever seen what a poor black woman that lives in the hood sounded like in the 1960s? You haven't. And you're about to see it. Now, you're going to have to decide. Okay, we're going to go 1 to 10. Don't believe her at all. 10, completely believe everything she's saying. Okay? And this can be a sliding scale as she's speaking. Okay? Now, she's going to raise some concerns, and you're going to go, okay, she does have concerns. But then the way that she's speaking might sound impossibly retarded. So it could go. That's how I felt about it, by the way. So let's hear what she does.
Okay.
In the evening.
In the night, you mean in the afternoon? I mean, when dark begin to come.
Right.
They this long. They this long. They long as that thing you got there. Greasy, nasty, black, like they just come out the bottom part of the basement. Like they've been in grease or something like that. The hairs hang off them is greasy. They walk down the hole like cats.
Have any of the rats?
They big as a cat. They big as a cat. You can hear them walking down the hole. You get up and look and it's a big rat.
Have any of the rats ever bothered any of you and your children?
They got in the bed with my daughter. Got in the bed with them.
Pause it. So I'm so confused. So the rats are as big as a cat. Now, I understand you want to embellish it, sure. But here's what I don't get. On one hand, we have to sit down and listen and shut up and listen, right? To black people, to POC, to non-white people. We got to shut up and listen to their experience. And also, they know what it's like to live in a white society because they're surrounded by whiteness. Am I correct in saying this so far?
Yeah. Although you could probably, I mean, this is the thing, right? So like back in the day.
So hold on. So if that's true, why the fuck do you still sound like a fucking slave? How do you not learn the King's English? How are you so resistant? How are you surrounded by whiteness? Where, somebody just said, do they speak Yiddish or chirp? Like, what language is this person speaking? How do you sound like that? How does the interviewer sound a certain way? It's from a different country, by the way. A Canadian sounds more like an American, I wonder why, than this person does. Like, I don't understand how they retain this accent being surrounded. The TV they watch has to be white people. Like, you don't pick that up. You've traveled to different countries, and you try and pick up how they speak.
To be fair, I don't know if they had TV. I mean, but it's an interesting sort of dynamic. Okay, so at this point,
the ham radio.
They still have
the ham radio with a man telling
they still have the radio, right? But at this point, right, they're living in the ghetto, right? So they're mainly surrounded by like other blacks. Okay, so then forced integration happens.
Sure.
Suddenly they're surrounded by like white people, and now that's the problem, that they're surrounded by white. So the original problem was they were surrounded by black people, and now the problem is that they're surrounded by white people, right? Like
someone just. I'm sorry, I'm listening, but someone just said, even parrots can mimic.
Bro.
I'm really enjoying the community I'm building. That's awesome. See? Right under the radar. That's a good one.
So Deadpool Kid says middle-class blacks didn't want to integrate with poor blacks in the 50s and 60s, and they still don't. Yeah, I can kind of see why, man. Like,
right?
Yeah. Fuck.
They're big as a cat.
Big as a cat.
How many tenants built? The building has, I think, something like 27 to 30 tenants.
27 to 30 tenants. Tell you what, why don't we turn out all 30 of them? Now, the other thing is this. Are we going to need babysitters? We're going to need babysitters.
I think we're going to need babysitters because if we're going to get all the tenants out, we're going to have somebody to take care of those kids while they're there because there's quite a few kids in that building.
Pause it.
All right.
So these are well-spoken blacks, all right?
Yep.
These I would not call them hard R's, right? No. They're doing the bidding of such a person, but they're intellectual. Their names are probably Brian and George. You know?
Yep.
Probably there's a high association with a black person naming their kid a regular name, and they come out with a more fully formed brain than your football player names, your basketball player names.
Yep.
But see, now this is community organizing. If white people do this in any capacity, it's conspiracy. We all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
This level of organization to commit a public disturbance. I mean, it's already built into law. Like, we already have laws that we could enforce, but they got around it by calling it community organizing. But there's conspiracy to commit a nuisance. I had to look this up because I'm like, there has to be something preemptive one can do.
I mean, there was sort of white parallels to this in the union movement, right? But only if they were like expressly communist, basically, right? Like, or anarcho-syndicalist or something like that, right? If you tried to organize under any other kind of political ideology, you get your shit pushed in, basically.
Yep.
There'll be three ploys we've got. Number one, we've got the demonstration in front of his home Sunday. Number two, we go with the building department. Number three, we pull a mass rent strike on all of the slum buildings he's got. I think he's got about 8.
Pause it. Hey, why don't you guys just do that in the UK? Plan for babysitters and plan when you're going to protest outside of a mayor's home, and then plan for a mass demonstration on the third day, and just do all of these protests planned and sequentially all in a row where your government people live. Why don't you just do that?
Because we have this thing called the Territorial Support Group, and they like to beat the shit out of people. It's not really encouraged. And besides, like, the UK government, they just don't give a shit, man, right? Like, I think actually one of the consequences of this shit going on, like, since the 60s, is that the people who wound up in power, they just don't care anymore. Right? Because so many times they've had like people come up and be like, we's going to strike, we's going to organize, you know, like power to the people, power for, you know, organized labor and stuff. And they're just like, oh, look, just, you know, just get out, right? Like, you know, we don't care, right? We got a country to govern badly, right? Like, you know, I just don't think I think this was, I guess these, because like, you know, the business owner in the previous clip, right? He looks just really surprised, right? I'm sure that this was like part of like the tactic, right? Was to basically sort of ambush these like people, right? Who are just like,
yes, and that's what I'm saying. Heightened emotion.
yeah. They're
Panic.
just, you know, they're just running businesses, right? They're just like, look, you know, I run a factory, like making like ghee jaws or, you know, whatever. I go to the Rotary Club, you know, maybe I hang out at the Masonic Lodge, like da, right? And then all of a sudden, right, like these groups just like, you know, I mean, I presume all of this is preceded with like a strike, right? So they, you know, they get everyone to like walk out on the factory. I mean, yeah, interesting. That's the other thing about the civil rights movement. It was so much more dignified.
What a fucking phenotype. But you're right.
Right?
You're absolutely
like, you know,
right.
they're just walking around in circles with signs. Nobody's yelling.
Watch what happens.
Right? No,
you haven't seen the whole thing yet.
Oh, okay,
Watch what fucking happens.
right. But
okay?
you know, you don't even see this in like modern protests of this type.
Get
you know
ready.
What I mean?
Get ready. You can hear a pin drop. You can hear me talk. It's so silent. It's so respectfully silent.
Uh-oh. Here come the pigs.
Just imagine it.
And again, look at the cop, right? He's not wearing body armor or anything, right? He's just like, you know, hello. What's going on here then? We seem to have a bunch of black people causing a disturbance.
So before you hear their interaction, they're peacefully walking. It's so quiet you could hear a pin drop. They have their signs up. This is actually protesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's see what this type of protesting used to actually lead to in the country. The part of protesting they don't actually show you.
What's this ACT? This ACT organization? Are you in charge of this, sir?
Yes, I'm the director of the Woodlawn organization.
What's your name?
Leon Finney.
Leon what?
Finney, F-I-N-N-E-Y.
And what is this in regards to?
Pickett owns a building at 15.
So pause it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Pickett is the name of the slumlord. Okay.
Yep.
Who probably is legitimately not doing anything and being a slumlord.
Yep.
And so they're peacefully gathering to protest. A cop comes by and he goes, well, what's this about? Are you in charge of this protest? You have one person that takes accountability for their behavior and goes, yes, I'm in charge of this protest. And what are their grievances? And he tells them exactly what their grievances are. This is civilized society.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Like to see the difference between this and BLM. Like, my God, you know?
Right?
1 to 17 East 64th Street. We've asked him, the tenants in the building, we've asked him to cooperate, make the necessary repairs. His name is Francis Pickett.
Pickett?
P-I-C-K-E-T.
And he lives here?
Yes.
All right, sir. As long as they don't block anybody and don't cause any disturbance, you won't have to hang
Pause it. As long as they don't block anything or cause a disturbance. And so what do they do nowadays? Block everything.
No, and the rationale.
And that's when the police get involved.
And the rationale would be like, if we don't make no disturbance, then they're not going to listen to us. You know what I mean, right? Like it's just like everything's being turned up to like 11 billion. It's crazy, man.
When this is showing that, like, hey, look it. You know how they showed you all of that like riot footage in the beginning? Well, does it depend on their fucking behavior, possibly? As to what leads to that? Right now, in the middle of the day, not blocking, not causing a ruckus. And he's like, okay. And I now there's also it's documented as to why they're protesting. So now it's in the police report of why they're protesting. Now the slumlord's name is with them. And now if it has to be followed up in 2 weeks, this is why they were protesting. And then if they have complaints, this is a way to actually get it done without having to destroy other people's property.
And it's a very specific complaint as well, right? Like they want
measurable,
they want this slumlord to do repairs to the building, right? Like not let's overthrow society, or men can be women, or like let's do a heckin' wholesome communism. It's like I think I've seen a lot of leftist movements, right? They become essentially victims of their own success, right? They keep looking for larger and larger things to demand, and eventually they wind up in what's called a transitional demand, where they demand something that they know can't be fulfilled, because the whole point is just to keep protesting and destabilizing.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
The question is, when did these people file suit?
The question is that they want some action, man. They don't want no suits.
Well, look.
They want some heat. They want some janitorial service.
Look at the schnoz on that guy. Holy shit.
Dude, who wants to go skiing down that thing? That's a black diamond.
Hello, fellow black people. I'm here to help you all.
No, he is oppositional. He is straight up going to be like, I'm on the black people's side.
Me too.
Me too. As an American wanting to live in a civil society when there's shitty landlords that aren't doing anything and there's rats, I don't think they're the size of cats. But, I mean, so far, how would you not side with the black people?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's very hot now.
Sure.
They want heat now?
Does it take heat to heat water? How do you get hot water?
Is there no do you live in this building?
How do you get hot water?
Who lives in the building?
How do you get hot water?
Turn the gas.
Yeah, all right. Here's a tenant that's in the building.
Yes.
Now, why don't you address your questions to her?
Okay.
Rats, roaches, bathtub stopped up, stew stuffed up,
oil in trouble,
completing the face bowl stopped up.
Wait, is that the landlord? The dude in the
no. Wait, is it?
I mean, it looks like they're directing their complaints to. Is he like a representative of the landlord?
I don't know. I don't have clarification on who this guy is, but probably the worst representative is this bitch not introducing herself, just going rats, roaches. Rewind it 10 seconds and try to listen to everything she's saying, and then try to actually like respect her and be like, oh, this person knows something. Like, for the love of God, lady, you are surrounded by people who speak the language. And how does she sound? Like this.
Yeah, all right. Here's a tenant that's in the building.
Yes.
Now, why don't you address your questions to her?
Okay.
Rats, roaches, bathtub stopped up, stew stuffed up, completing the face bowl stopped up, rats this long in the bed with the babies. I pays my rent. I don't promise it. I don't say I think I will pay you. I pays. I don't try to cheat my way through, but I ain't getting no sub. We don't even see ticket, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds to me like that guy is the dude that deals with the tenants.
No, because she just said we don't see picket period.
Yeah, but he says like
This is
she
just
also
some
says
guy
like I
in
pay
public.
you, right? So she's clearly talking like saying like
I see
they
what
pay
you're saying, so
you,
that's why he's
right?
Yeah,
I think
that's why he's getting involved as like a representative.
the man that owns your building certainly has to clean up all these conditions. That's not what I'm arguing.
But you just soon not to have it in the neighborhood. Is that right?
I'm not
You'd
saying,
rather have it
no,
in the courts?
that's not what I'm saying.
Well, you seem to be basing most of your argument on moving the whole issue to the courts.
I'm taking
for a
issue with
second.
the fact that she hasn't exhausted available means.
The only thing I'm suggesting is this. The only thing I'm suggesting is this: that the remedy that you're talking about is too slow.
He didn't never show.
You've only filed 2 months ago by your own word.
How many babies have got to be bitten? How many roaches have got to crawl over people before you get some action?
File a suit against the guy.
About a year and a half ago, I found myself in a...
Dude, Undead Arachnid said, crazy? I was crazy once. I was crazy in a rubber room. A rubber room with rats. A rubber room with rats the size of cats. Rats the size of cats make me go crazy. Like, dude, seriously. She sounds like a psych escapee. Lady, the rat is your landlord. But like, yeah, like, I empathize with her as much as I possibly can, but it's just like the presentation is very unwelcoming and crazy.
Yeah.
Confrontation with the Ku Klux Klan in Texas, and a large mass of them in a big auditorium. In the middle of my speech, I suddenly stopped, and I started looking, staring at the Klan leader.
I need everybody to absorb this right now.
And finally I said, as I look at the face of this leader of the Ku Klux Klan here, I say to you that he is a Negro.
Pause it.
Oh, sorry, didn't hear.
So this is very important. Now, I want you to replace KKK member, okay, with trans person when he's saying this, okay?
Okay.
Because what do we do when it's reversed and we plug in something different? So bring it back to like 1510, okay? Replace KKK member with trans person, okay?
Okay.
Mass of them in a big auditorium. In the middle of my speech, I suddenly stopped, and I started looking, staring at the Klan leader. And finally I said, as I look at the face of this leader of the Ku Klux Klan here, I say to you that he is a Negro.
Man instead of Negro, okay?
All the Klansmen started turning around and looking at the face of their leader. And all of a sudden his nose started getting a little broader and his hair started getting... Once the ideas...
Guy does not think this is a funny joke. Look at that.
Well, because his nose started getting bigger. Because he's talking about transforming the KKK guy into a Negro, right?
Yeah.
Because he called him one.
Yeah.
So he's making the example of that transforms the person. So like, imagine if you're like, you know, to a trans person, you're like, you know, a trans woman, you go, you're a man. And wouldn't you know, everybody was looking at the trans woman, and the muscles started getting bigger, and the facial hair started getting larger.
This guy.
Oh,
Like,
wait,
what the fuck did you just say?
Right? The camera work in this is great.
You begin to associate. I knew what I had done. I knew that I'd ruined this man for life. I knew that he would spend the rest of his life trying to prove that he was white. If I had been told that after I did this to him, he would walk out of the auditorium, that there would be a meeting and the Klan would throw him out of leadership, and that he would then go home and commit suicide, I would have done it. Do I make myself clear?
Why can't we say that about trans people?
The delegation from Dayton has listened to Alinsky for 10 days.
Film ourselves saying that, dude.
Man.
Are you kidding
That's
me?
fucking cold.
You know what?
My God, dude.
You know what? If the rules are different, you know?
Yeah.
If one time I saw a troon, guy in a wig, and I said, you're a man. And all of a sudden everybody was looking and like, you know, his beard starts growing and they see this big burly man. And if I was told that troon would walk away, go home, and off itself, you fucking understand me? Is this different? Is the tone in the room different right now compared to him saying that about a KKK guy, dude?
Yeah.
That's like one of the most insane double standards right there. You can't say anything like that.
Bruh.
But you have to be cold-blooded. Why do you think I'm cold-blooded, fellas? Because that is what they are like. This is who trained them. They will use your own humanity against you, so give them no humanity. We're trying to make soldiers out here, okay?
Yeah, isn't that like rule number 1 or something? Use your enemies like moral framework against them, you know?
It's one of the rules.
He leaves them now to make their decision.
Doesn't someone have to say, are there other alternatives, or are there any other directions beside this that are maybe more valid or more up to date? I don't know. So that do we want to commit ourselves to this phrase, Alinsky type of organization, when we don't know, one, what we mean by Alinsky type organization, or maybe we don't agree? I mean, we have a general feeling, but how far we mean this? And second, is this the only model?
But at this point, with 2 weeks of exposure to the Alinsky philosophy, are we going to go and
Pause it? Dude, his head looks like the head from One of Us Freaks, the small head guy.
No, it reminds me. I don't know if you ever like saw that that like TikTok of that black dude in the back of the bus, like wearing those like sunglasses that say like "Trust no bitch."
Dude, he is Down syndrome Blade. He is Wesley Snipes. If this guy knows martial arts, then white women are really in trouble because he's going to grab their tits and beat them up.
We're getting reports that YouTube is like glitching. Is that happening for anyone else, or just let us know in the chat, boys?
Set up another institute for exposure to another philosophy.
Will we go back to Dayton? Are we going to try to sell community?
So yeah, we got super chat from Name the Dynamic, $2. The audio is going in and out. Don't know what the fuck's causing that. You still here, Ardy?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just crying on the inside.
Audio's been good for me. We're good. Okay, all right. Okay, so all right.
We'll just try and power through it.
Okay.
Organization or Saul Alinsky.
He's not for sale, you know.
Yeah.
He's not bargaining to organize.
Yeah.
Now, and he's also said that there is no organizer in our community at present. We're going to have to import one, because if there was one, we'd already have an organization.
We know we've been indoctrinated by Alinsky, and yet seem like we are so timid and afraid to let people know that we've been in a meeting with.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's asinine to pretend otherwise.
Yeah.
Hello? Buddy?
Sorry.
Audio
I was muted.
Oh, there you are.
Super chat from Big Chris, $2. You guys should check out The Great Boomer Deception. That sounds interesting.
What
Sorry
that
about
is?
the mute there.
I'll be looking that up right now.
Sorry about being muted there. I'm juggling a lot of plates here.
We must
Not a
admit that
problem.
he's helped us.
You're darn right he has.
Right. Very good.
Like 3 cheers for Alinsky.
Yeah.
That conception I have of the world is sort of as mankind sort of going up a mountain.
Alinsky talks with members of the Company of Young Canadians.
And on that summit...
Pause it. Company of Young Company of Young Canadians Wikipedia. Go to it right now.
Yeah, all right. Let's see. Company of Young Canadians.
I want you to try to believe how ridiculous this is. All you have to do is read the first 2 paragraphs.
Here we go.
Put it
Company of Young Canadians was a short-lived Canadian youth program.
Can you put it on the screen?
Sorry?
Can you put it on the screen? Can you put it on the screen?
Yep.
Thank you.
CYC was a short-lived Canadian youth program sponsored by the Canadian federal government, which existed from 1966 to 1977. It was designed to be run autonomously without government direction.
So hold on. So right there, it was a government program. It was government sponsored, designed to be run autonomously without government direction. It's just like the OG NGO now. Like, how is that even a thing?
Yeah, this is the NGO, the start of the NGOcracy. It generated considerable controversy shortly after its founding. Coordination with volunteers in small communities was poorly organized, and several of the youth involved in the program were prominent political activists. Oh, imagine my shock. Among other things, it was accused in 1969 of harboring terrorists by municipal officials from Montreal, including Mayor John Drapeau. These claims were never verified. In March 1970, its administration was taken over by the federal government, and in 1977, it was formally abolished. So it was a Marxist.
So that's who he's talking to.
So it was a Marxist cell, clearly, right?
And so this is probably maybe a year before they were accused of terrorists and kidnapping. And he's talking to them in this nice, polite little documentary. Isn't that crazy?
Dude.
By the time he gets up there, he's got to go over all kinds of obstacles on war and prejudice and famine, unemployment, all the things we regard as evil.
See, one of the, I don't want to get into a long philosophical discussion, but you're giving a 19th century notion of progress, and progress is a mighty hard, long road to hoe. And, in terms of your example about the mountain, that there's this summit that man's got to get to, that, he's got to go through all these struggles to get there. There's a group of people now who talk about abolishing the mountain. The important thing is that social change means changing the world. That's what social change is. That it's not a unilinear line that always reaches for the summit of the mountain.
You gotta believe he's gonna get up there, because if I don't, what the hell am I crapping
I believe he's
going
to destroy the mountain, and that whole struggle won't even be meaningful.
We see a communist debating an anarchist right now.
Yeah.
Going up a mountain and speaking in these ideological terms. And fucking Saul Alinsky's like, what the hell are you talking about, a mountain? There's people over here fucking starving that need my help. Very direct action, very direct, not thinking like in these grandiose fucking ways. Everything is in the material real world with the anarchist.
Yeah. Man, it's so weird, like, seeing the genesis of BLM. This is literally like what birthed it, Damn.
And it was allowed to fester.
Yeah.
I don't seek to keep sending people up the mountain, and blowing the mountain is not copping out.
It's not copping out?
No.
Where the hell are you blowing it? You're organizing the poor for what? To participate in these decadent, decayed, degenerate, bourgeois values. Well, when I talk to the poor, when they ask me to work with them, you know what they want? They want a bigger, fatter piece of these decadent, degenerate, bourgeois values. All right, this may be wrong, but this is
Of course they want that. That's what the media has taught them to want. That's what the whole socialization process is about.
Did you see that? Okay, so tell me I would love to know your interpretation of the conversation right now.
It never changes, right? Like this, we have like literally heard this talk. This is the idealistic, like you were saying, this is the idealistic communist, right? Versus the anarchist praxis pragmatist, right? Like the communists, like, they only want bourgeois like things, right? They only want like more material possessions because they've been socialized by the bourgeoisie. And Alinsky's, I actually agree with Alinsky on this one, right?
Did you see Alinsky guffaw?
Yeah.
At that, where he was like, oh my God. But here's the thing. So I know, but it's so mooish where it's like, yeah, but it's what they want. And even though what they want is self-destructive, but it's what they want. So he looks benevolent.
Yeah.
When he knows that he let them go to the table with the mayor and go, we want 75 million untrained jobs tomorrow. And it's like, well, maybe you could have like helped them out a little bit there. By the way, that's unresolved and that's going to be resolved in a few minutes. But yeah, like Alinsky's like, you can't tell them what to want because then you're going to be lecturing them. You have to just let them cause chaos. And the communist wants them to cause chaos in a specific direction. Alinsky just wants him to cause chaos. And that's really the difference.
Man, you can also see like the genesis of the Cloward Piven plan in this as well. Man, this is fascinating. Ground zero.
Right?
Of course.
You want to go organize them on other values that you have decided are better values for them?
I think there's someone here who works for a group of people who are operating on different values.
You mean the hippies?
The hippies are the first ones who try and live in a new value system. They're the first ones who actively deal with the problem of utopia. They don't have to write about it. They don't have to think about it. They try and live it. They try and live their lives as they want them to be in a new society.
Look, you've had...
Yeah, and how the fuck did that work out? Goddamn. The hippies are an example of the new society.
In his defense, this is like 1968.
No, I get it.
So
I absolutely
could
get
actually
it.
plead ignorance.
This is what I'm saying, right? Like, give the hippies, like, what? 10, not even 15 years, right? And they all become the yuppies.
Well, we know the fate of the hippies because when the fuck is the last time hippie was considered a neutral or endearing term?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like using hippie in some sort of like non-pejorative context.
You goddamn
That's
hippies.
how dated this concept is. Right.
Oh, dude.
He actually said the phrase, the hippies are actually doing it. They are known universally for doing nothing.
This is why I'm on the side of Alinsky. in this exchange, right?
Okay.
Because anyone who starts talking about utopia, I'm just like, get the fuck out, right? I'm not listening to that.
That's his appeal. His appeal is the results. That's why I call myself on my channel Saul Alinsky. He gets results, goddammit.
Yeah, you got to give it up for that.
Hippies from the time the world began. At one point, the desert was so goddamn crowded with hippies during the early days of Christianity that people started climbing, went back to the cities and started climbing up to mountain cabins to get away and to live their kind of life. You think this kind of withdrawal and this kind of, all right, I will go live my life, I'll live it in Haight-Ashbury, or I'll become a Trappist monk and I'll live it over here?
But one of the major theories of social change is that you build up counter institutions to what is,
well,
and then a new society emerges.
Right,
I mean, how the hell did Christianity develop? What's the development of capitalism? It's the same thing.
You don't have a tougher, harder, more realistic operator than Paul in organizing Christianity. If Paul hadn't come around to organize a Christian church, Christ would have been another guy hanging on a cross.
There's always the organizers. I'm not saying there isn't the organizers.
He was the guy who
But I'm saying there's a different set of values that grow up alongside another.
When you start organizing,
Oh yeah, he's pointing with the middle finger. Oh, that's very.
Look at that, and he's pointing, and he's fucking pointing it at him, like fucking listen here.
You got another tip, chat?
Deadpool kid for $5.
Yeah, you want to read it?
The fact that people, I'm growing into a real boy. The fact that people want material stuff is so shocking to commies. Is still so shocking to commies is still surprising. People will always want something no matter what.
Yep.
Yeah, like Alinsky is like, okay, institutions, good luck with that. That's gonna take time. There's things right now. So there really is an urgency to Alinsky that everybody can at least understand, if not agree with.
Yep. I don't know. I'm kind of warming to him actually watching this exchange.
Dude, I tried to make a video on him, and I started to like him and stopped making the video. I'm not exaggerating. This was maybe like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
like a guy like Paul. And you can see his reports coming in from his organizers. They call them missionaries. I got a bunch signed up here. They're all ready to buy it, but they don't want to be circumcised. They say it hurts. Skip the circumcision. I got another group over here. They're all ready to come in, but they don't want to give up lobster and seafood and so forth, which is against the Mosaic law. The hell with that. Drop that out. Sign them on. You can see this guy organizing and dealing all over the place. As long as you are not organized, you will never have power.
How bad does this guy want to fuck Saul
I
Alinsky?
repeat, the ability to act. Don't look at power in an invidious context with all of the emotional sordidness of conspiracy and negativism and corruption and so forth that most people associate with it. It's simply the ability to act. It's my heart pumping, the power in my heart to keep me alive. It's actually the life force itself. As long as you don't organize to have that power, you can have 1% of the people of this world, let's say the bastards, organized, and all the rest of the world hippie, and that 1% is going to run the whole damn world.
Oh, that sounds very woke right to me. I don't know, man. It's like very elite theory.
Communists have always operated on 1 to 3.5% of the population can take over a whole country.
Oh, look,
that's what they
You can't say that, Ardy, right? Only the left are able to use these tactics, right? And we must do absolutely nothing and let the left just roll over everything, right? Because to use the tactics that the enemy uses to succeed, well, that would be very woke right? So we can't do that, mate. I'm sorry. We're just going to have to stay in liberalism and let the race communists just roll over us. It's been decided, bro.
That's the only function of the liberal. The liberal and the conservative are no different.
Oh, God.
The liberalism, I guess the liberal makes things more liberal, but I don't even know what liberal means at this point.
Oh yeah,
conservative is a conservative, and the liberal just makes more degen shit happen. I mean, how is this even a contestable opinion?
This goes all the way back to the fucking Russian Revolution, man, right? Exactly this same dynamic played out. You had the communists on one side, you had the royalists on the other side, and you had a bunch of lib shits and just in the middle being oh, can we fix these horrible problems by not changing anything? Anyway.
Real quick, someone said woke right. Shout out to the woke right. Woke right. James Lindsay is such a joke. Let us know if you'd like us to do any James Lindsay streams, because we got a lot of ammo in the chamber for that.
I really wanted to do a James Lindsay stream. I've done so. He's my favorite lolcow. I gotta say, like,
I know, but I might hate him more than anybody. I think I've made the most videos on him technically in human history. I might have the record for that.
well, look, chat. If that sounds something you'd like to watch, let us know, because we have a lot of ammo stored up. It'd be like relatively easy to do.
That's for a rainy day. I could stop what I'm doing right now and do it. I mean, that's no problem.
For real.
Negro has come into our...
Alinsky has many critics in high places. Dr. Philip Hauser is a leading sociologist at the University of Chicago.
The Alinsky technique, in effect, assumes that if the Negro organizes through an exercise of power, he can achieve his birthright in the United States. I only wish that this were true. In effect, what he says is there are good guys and bad guys. The bad guys have subordinated and oppressed the good guys, equated to the poor and the underprivileged, and that the only hope that the poor and the underprivileged have of rising in the economic and social scale and throwing off the shackles of oppression and subordination and the like is through revolt, that is through the use of power. Now, my judgment, the Alinsky approach is a relatively simplistic and naive one for a good many situations. That is, he uses essentially the approach of labor organization as it was operative at the beginning of this century. You organize a community by giving them some common enemies, having them hate the enemies, and around the emotion of conflict, produce an organization that then, through an exercise of power in conflict, would accomplish its objectives. First of all, it is obviously absurd to assume that a 10 and is now 11% of our population can achieve its objectives against the will of an 89 or 90% of the population through...
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. The key is organization. Again, I agree with Alinsky on this, right? The key is organization.
Dude.
Right?
They're allowed to organize it. It's conspiring. Just look at January 6th and Proud Boys that went to prison. I made a video on it. The things that they will get you on is so tic-tacky. Total blackout painting for $10, mate.
Mate.
Liberals support communists in the same way that moderate Muslims, oh my God, support radical Muslims. The moderates want the same thing that the radicals want. They just don't want to get their hands dirty. That is true and not true at the same time, making it more true. Let me explain myself.
Yeah.
So even if that is true, where the moderate Muslims, the reason why, even if I'm a civic nationalist, even as a civic nationalist, Muslims are terrified of radical Muslims more than non-Muslims are, because they know what they do. And so even if you're a moderate Muslim or an apolitical Muslim, or just kind of a Muslim, like your place of worship is going to become a home of people that want to do damage. So even if you're not doing it intentionally, which if you're doing it intentionally, that's awful. But even if you're not doing it intentionally, then you're just a useful idiot. Conversely, there's the liberalism that no longer has anything to do with free speech or private property. It's the socialized liberalism that has been happening since the 20s and 30s. So there's people that are intentionally calling themselves liberals that now call themselves progressives that are doing what he's saying and paving the way for communism. But then there's the fucking useful idiot shit libs that don't know. So even if you are doing it on purpose or by accident, you are useless to me either way. Your participation, whether or not you are aware of it, disqualifies you from me even considering you a fucking human being at this point. We're in the age of the internet, okay? I'm getting tired of this shit, of how many things people have to see before, like, that's the thing. If there's people that are, like, maliciously doing it, then, they're beyond repair, and then, yes, I'm going to fight them. But even the useful idiots, I just no longer have just any. They're the same exact thing to me as someone maliciously doing it. Like, either your intent no longer matters to me because consequentially, at the end of the day, you're serving the same master.
I mean, I think he's got a point. You know, that there are many things that the extremists strive for that the moderates would be okay with. They just don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want the upset. But I think hidden in that is sort of like a deeper sort of thing about the organized minority in the mass, which is that the mass, one of sort of the qualities of the mass is that they just sort of generally go along, right? It's like once a new order emerges, they're like, you know, new boss, same as the old boss kind of like thing. It is, you know, it is the nature of the mass to be sort of passive, basically, you know.
Well, so the organizers know that. They understand, Lisa Fithian talks about this, they already understand the birth-death cycles of movements. That's why when a movement is coming up, throw everything at it. And then they already know it's going to fizzle out. And that way they can like it's Kama Sutra for them. It's Kami Sutra for them. They're constantly edging for the next fucking riot to go and do.
Yeah.
Use of power or force. This, on the face of it, is an absurd proposition. Black power, if it wishes to resort to force, can certainly harass society. They can set up forms of guerrilla warfare of the type that are now manifest in various parts. But the reaction that might produce in the way of the organization of the 90% majority could lead to simply oppression, suppression, if you please, even concentration camps and the like. This is not going to achieve any objectives. It's an absurd proposition.
Got no point in getting into any name calling here, but Hauser basically suffers from utter political illiteracy. He's never been involved in the arena of conflict and the people. I don't know if any revolutions had more than 2% organized minority.
So much for Alinsky in theory.
Based.
It's like he doesn't know what he's talking about, but see, ridicule.
I mean, ridicule. Look, Alinsky is not wrong, right? Like, yeah, damn.
Here is Alinsky in practice. One more in chapter and verse. It begins on a July night in 1964 in upstate New York. The comfortable city of Rochester, with its excellent record of civic good deeds, prepares to sleep the sleep of the just. Suddenly, windows begin to break, voices begin to roar, guns begin to fire. Rochester, of all places, is having a race riot. When it is over, 3 are dead, hundreds wounded. There's $1.5 million damage.
That's adjusted for inflation.
Negro and white church groups decide they need outside help. They consider hiring the controversial services of Saul Alinsky.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Like, we had a fire last night. Does anyone know where we can get some gasoline? It makes me wonder if Alinsky and his crew was not behind like the formations of things like the CRS, like the Community Relations Service. You know who they are, like Ardy, don't you?
No.
So the CRS, right, is a federal government agency that, like, so have you seen like whites who get like brutalized by like race violence, right? Like get up and they just, you know, basically, even though they've like lost like a kid or something like that, they're like, oh, you know, it's important like not to, you know, draw any conclusions. That's the CRS, the Community Relations Service. They're like a federal government department. They basically go around and after there's been like some kind of like race riot, they threaten and cajole people to like not say anything. Like, yeah, it's like a whole thing. Trump like tried to defund them, but he wasn't successful yet. I did a whole video on them actually. Like they're everywhere. Well, in black areas, basically, right? Like
what does CRS stand for?
The Community Relations Service. That's what it stands for. The CRS.
Okay.
You should. I'll send you a video on it. It's on Yiz's channel, Empire of Lies. It's from about a couple of months ago. Check it out.
Dope.
There is a civic uproar, but the church group stands firm and decides to go with Alinsky.
The moment I even look at a community, the establishment promptly reacts in fear, shock, and hate. Since the have-not community sees this reaction, immediately they assume they haven't seen anybody so shake up the establishment. This is what the establishment fears above everything else. It must, ipso facto, be good and be what they want. The fact that they buy a good deal of the mythology, that this guy is sort of a demigod or Superman, and always wins his fights, etc., is extremely important too, because remember, here's a people that are starting believing that there isn't anything they can do about anything. They're almost beaten.
And what does Alinsky think of Rochester, New York?
Affluence, opulence, sheer material security, and sheer smugness and arrogance.
So, like, just a bunch of, like, whites living their best life.
Just
basically.
looking down on it. Just hates it.
Just hates it. Oh, look at all these white people in church singing their Christian hymns.
Yeah, and he's going to, like, pejoratively talk to them, and they're going to lap it up.
Many Christians are bitter and angry at the presence of Alinsky. There's a sharp drop in church attendance.
So he comes in, there's a sharp drop in church attendance. Unism is like, Lamau, look at Rochester, New York now. Absolutely wrecked.
It's pretty mid.
Wouldn't want to draw any inferences from that.
The church is guilty of all sorts of fallacies and fumblings, but it has its gospel, and where it can see a place to proclaim its gospel, it has to do it, even admitting that we don't have very great ethical and moral standards to speak from. In other words, our ethical and moral purity has nothing to do with the question of what we say. We are proclaiming a gospel which is separate and independent of our own integrity, goodness, peace, and so forth.
Creating tensions? What tensions have we created? We haven't even come into the community. I've only been in Rochester for 5 hours, and all of a sudden there are tensions around. Well, I'll tell you, you do have tensions, but you refuse to look at them. What is happening now is that as a consequence of this invitation, a hidden infection is being brought out into the open.
Alinsky sends in Ed Chambers, his top organizer. Chambers works quickly to head off another long, hot summer.
Sorry?
Where does he get all these organizers from?
Yeah, good question. So, like, I mean, this again is like classic Marxism. You just highlight the contradictions. You make everything worse. You're like, this society isn't perfect. There are tensions underneath. Yeah, that we have exposed all of these tensions.
And he's doing that for direct financial gain. He gets paid to do this.
Well,
he doesn't actually believe in it.
It sounds to me like he just loves setting shit on fire. Like he's
basically
like a pyromaniac, but for like
you have to enjoy doing this. If you want, skip ahead to like 30 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we're coming up to like 2 hours. So
yep.
Here we go. This bit.
Keep going.
Go on.
Oh, okay, yeah. Do 30. Do 30-30.
30-30.
We need to reconcile these jobs.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, yes. Yeah, we have to find out what happens to the jobs. Right. Fight headquarters. Is that where they organize the underground boxing?
No, that is like the oh my god. Just play it. It's an acronym.
And the press at large. It wins small victories in the areas of housing and education. In the second year, FIGHT decides to go to war against Negro unemployment. And so the issue is cut, the target is frozen. It is a formidable target. It is Eastman Kodak, largest film manufacturer in the world, biggest employer in Rochester. Although Kodak has no labor union, it has an excellent reputation for benevolence towards its employees. It supported President Kennedy's plan to provide jobs for minority groups.
Where are these jobs at?
Alinsky doesn't think Kodak lived up to its pledge.
Yeah, so there's like, you didn't do enough. Give us more jobs.
Fewer than 3% of its employees are Negro. Kodak's spokesman is Kenneth Howard.
Well, you have to recognize, you see, an organization like FIGHT it's essentially, I think you'd have to describe it as a protest organization. It's entirely different frame of reference than a private corporation has. One of the problems has been for them to recognize the limitations under which we operate, which are many. Our responsibilities to government, to stockholders, to employees, to the public in general, to the many, many thousands of people who come to Kodak and apply for jobs on their own initiative every year.
The issue that we are cutting, and which Eastman Kodak's allies have cut, as to whether or not a corporation has a responsibility to the local community as well as to its stockholders, whether it has a social responsibility outside of a financial responsibility, has to be resolved. And we propose to resolve it. We believe that a corporation in this world as it stands today, and so do you, believes that it has a social responsibility.
After months of negotiation, Kodak representatives agree to FIGHT's demand that they hire 600 untrained Negroes.
Pause it.
Oh, this is going to go great.
So they agree that they're going to hire 600 untrained Negros. Oh my God, that was a close one. 600 untrained Negros. Dude,
I can see no way this is going to have a problem.
That just sounds like an alarming thing. 600 untrained Negroes. That
Like,
just
how
sounds like
many-
a would you rather. Would you rather fight this or 600 untrained Negroes?
I mean, what percentage of the workforce is that? You notice how like they dropped in the only 3% of their workers are Negro. Well, yeah. Well, how many people are there like actually trained to do this stuff, right? Like, are they
manufacturing too? It's not retail. Folding clothes. All right, God.
3 days later, Kodak management repudiates the agreement.
3 days. They had 3 days of that fucking bullshit, and they were like, I don't care if you call me a liar. I don't care if you sue me. Out! All of yous! Get out of here! Scram!
Oh my God. I wish we had footage of like when they all like turned up and stuff. Oh, actually, I bet you I know like what happened. They're like, now that we've got this, they probably changed the terms of the deal. Fight was probably like, no, it's gotta be 900, right? Like, oh my God.
So that's as much as I'll have to put you through that video right there, okay? We've had some uppity blacks, all right, preaching a sermon in here, okay? Let me give you a better black, okay? Let me know if you guys know who this black is. Check the Telegram chat.
Check the Telegram chat.
Wait a minute.
Wait. Okay. We got a super chat. Hurt chain for $2 Canadian. Untrained them out. Yeah, I mean, I know, right? Like, oh God, seriously.
Hold on. It's in the other chat. It's the edited video that I did. Hold on.
Okay.
The one I just sent you is a little something different.
Are you sure you sent it? Because I'm not seeing anything in Telegram. You sent it in the right chat?
It's in the stream chat right now.
Right. Okay, I see it. I sees it.
So let me guys know if you're familiar with this guy.
Let me see if I. Okay, wait. I'll have to download it.
It's very small. So small.
so small. Okay,
so
right.
Let's have an equally uppity but more right-wing black man. And before I show you his sermon on Saul Alinsky, I want to make sure if you know who this guy is.
I do not know who this guy is. Okay, right. Let's go.
The real problem is neighborism. That's the real problem. That's the problem in all ghettos. That's the problem, neighborism, where you got people who have just been, they have died in the wool, if you will, against white America, against American structure, and they have no work ethic. You can't get a job. You can build all the jobs you want. You can't make these young boys go to work. They're not going to do it. The schools teach neighborism. And that's why the immigrant problem is such a major issue, is because Latinos, Mexicans have not been indoctrinated with neighborism. Neighborism is to let the government take care of you. The government owes you everything. The government owes you a house, it owes you education, it owes you income, it owes you a track phone, it owes you a pair of sneakers. I mean, and this is neighborism. And that's what all the black, the Hamite, if you will, politicians, and progressive, if you will, Japheth politicians, that's what they teach. And neighbors have just been beat down to the point where they have no work ethic. Detroit is suffering from a case of neighborism. And $100 million ain't gonna go nowhere except into the hands of all the thieves, the drug dealers, the politicians, and it'll be right back where it started from. Neighborism in Detroit.
So
damn that neighborism.
If we're all familiar with that guy, okay. Now, if you scroll up, is then the last video that we have to play
on the Telegram channel.
Saul Alinsky, Barack Obama. It's going to be just scroll up from the video that I just sent you.
Okay, Roger that. Oh. Wait.
We don't have to play this whole thing, but you'll get the gist of it.
Okay. Share this tab instead. Is it working? Open it. Yeah, here we go.
I want to speak to you of all the years I've been
one of the good ones,
27 of them. I believe it's 28 or thereabouts. Of all the years that I've been a preacher and all the books that I have studied, I have read thinker after thinker. I have read preacher after preacher. I've read non-believer after non-believer. I've read a whole lot of things I had no business reading. But I've been a preacher and a pastor for 27 years. But I've never in all my days, I've never heard anybody praise Satan. I've never heard anybody say, blessed be the name of Satan. Praise Satan, praise Lucifer, for he is indeed a mighty conqueror. I've never heard anybody do that before. Most people, no matter how they feel about God or what religion they subscribe to, they are wise enough not to praise Satan. They may not want to give Jesus the glory. And then the things that they do in their lives may be giving Satan praise. But I've never in all of my years of ministry and the years that I've lived on this planet, I've never heard anybody praise Satan until just recently. Now I have a book here on this holy altar, this holy desk. I have a book here today that's called The Rules for Radicals. And it was written by a man named Saul Alinsky. Now, you may have remembered throughout the campaign of this recent presidential campaign, you may have remembered some of the pundits on television and some of the, I think, debates that were held and some of the discussions that were held, that Barack Hussein Obama, that his mentor was Saul Alinsky, and that his community organizing, strategizing, and bringing people together in low-income neighborhoods and organizing them for political power and strength. You may have heard that name mentioned. I'm sure Sean Hannity has mentioned it 1,000 times if he has mentioned it once. I'm sure you've heard it. You've also heard that Mr. Obama stated that he was a community organizer, and that is the one claim to fame that he had. And that he, of course, being a community organizer, wanted to bring change here to America. That he wanted to bring change here to America and thusly to the world. Some of you who've read a few books and had the opportunity to broaden your exposure and to broaden your horizons, therefore increase your opportunity to live. To increase your opportunity as you broaden your horizons, you integrate with thoughts other than your own and ideas other than your own and the community and the culture from which you sprang. Some of you have had the opportunity to do that, and if you had, maybe some of you read the book by Machiavelli called The Prince. Well, Machiavelli was a writer like Saul Alinsky, and Machiavelli's whole purpose in writing was to teach people who have power to keep that power, to keep it away from the masses, and to keep people that are poor and to keep them poor, and how to strategize and get that done. Well, Saul Alinsky is just the opposite. He's a person who has written prolifically about how to take power from the haves and deliver it to those that have not. He is prolific in that. And I'm not here to promote his book, but I think it'll be a good thing if you will read it. And in every other page, you'll see the word change at least 15 times per page. So what we heard in the recent election was not someone's fresh ideas, but they were rehashed ideas of this Saul Alinsky. Now, I've stated to you that all the years that I've lived, I've heard a lot of things. I've heard people blaspheme. I've heard people curse. I've heard that Job's wife told him to curse God and die. I've heard all of that, and that's fine.
Preach!
But I've never heard anybody praise Satan. Now, I'm going to read to you the very first page of this book of Rules for Radicals. This man who is the mentor, who is the God of Barack Hussein Obama, and he will acknowledge such.
Here we go.
He has written in the very first page, he's quoted several people. One is Rabbi Hillel, where Rabbi Hillel said, where there are no men, be thou a man. Y'all stand for this, please.
Hey, all right.
He also has quoted Thomas Paine,
balls and strikes,
where it says, let them call me rebel and welcome. I feel no concern from it, but I should suffer the misery of devils were I to make a whore of my soul. And this is from the great statesman Thomas Paine. Saul Alinsky is quoting him, or at least demonstrating this quote here in the very opening pages of his book of Rules for Radicals. But then he writes these words as well.
Here we go, fellas.
He says, lest we forget at least an over-the-shoulder acknowledgement to the very first radical from whom all our legends, mythology, and history, and who is to know where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which. The first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom was Lucifer. And it signed Saul Alinsky.
That is true.
Now he goes on in this book to praise Satan. He says Satan was the first and the most effective radical, and we ought to take our example of stealing kingdoms from Lucifer. That's what this man has written. You want the book? Here it is. Go buy it.
All right,
Here
that's
it
all I
is.
wanted to tell you. You can start.
You want the book? Go buy.
300 in the morning where you are right now, so let's start to wind down. But
yeah,
I just love that this guy does a sermon, and like he does in the first page say that, like, you know, Lucifer was the first radical, and then of course if you look up like a fact check on this, it's like he didn't. What he meant by that was that technically, yeah, and they completely sweep for it. But he literally
it's
about
just
Lucifer
an
in the book.
allegory, man.
And I've covered this in a video. Barack Obama was sending these books to schools to train. You know, you call them community organizers. You give them rules for radicals, and it thanks Lucifer in the first page, and nobody had a problem with it. Well, no, people on the right had a problem with it, but you know,
fuck, man. Yeah, because, like, you know, it's not like evil actually exists or anything, bro. It's right. You know, it's just an allegory.
Well,
You know,
I love how that he can tie it. He can tie it in, and he called balls and strikes. He's like Thomas Paine. He'll read other people, and he'll be like, you know, it's not everything he's saying is bad, but that's how you sneak the Lucifer in there. You know, you start with two people and then a Lucifer.
Yep. All right, shall we do like an outro?
I don't know how to do that. I'm a baby.
Okay, I'll do the outro. Right, so that's basically it. You've been exposed, bros, to the
4K.
most mooish of social organizers, Saul Alinsky. Although I've got to say, after like watching that, I mean, you know, his tactics were very.
Did it make you like him more? Isn't that crazy?
Not really. No, he seems like a very odious and greasy person. We did get some comments though that people would like us to do something on the work right. So, you know, that would be fun. We could do a bit of Lindsay trolling. You know, I know you like that, right?
Well, no, I'll actually be in character as the woke right the entire time we do that. I love to be a manifestation of everything James Lindsay is afraid of, and I might even make a YouTube post to be like tell me everything that and I'll incorporate that into a woke right character.
So you're like the anti-Lindsay. Oh my god, we're in the presence of
I know, but can someone
anti-
tell me exactly what he's afraid of? Like, what is it? It's so fucking ominous and ever changing. It's like, what are you afraid is going to happen? Like,
he's just afraid of Christians.
yeah,
dude.
but what if the Christians take over society? And it's like, okay, so like, what? They make me believe in Christianity. It's like, okay, I can do that. You know, I made myself believe in supporting gay people and black people for a decade. I can force myself to believe in white Christianity. Like, okay, I'll believe in that. Then what happens? Then they're gonna want you to fuck a white bitch and make kids with her. Okay, well I can't do that now. I can actually only do that, and I can actually only do that in a cohesive community. It's like, yeah, but but let's really play it to its extreme. Yeah, but like, what if I can't find one and one won't fuck me? Just take one and conceive a child through an act of violence. Okay, fine. Now I'm living in the high life right now. Now I'm just snagging a bitch off the side of the road, pumping her full of whatever.
No. Look. You go to church. You meet a nice girl at church, man. Right? Like, you know, like
this is the beauty of it. I'm gonna be the over the top woke right guy. I'm gonna be so over the top that you're gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm being woke right. That's how ridiculous this is.
Right.
I'm gonna try and hit every insane thing and be that character.
Anyway, thanks very much for coming, everyone. Thank you to everyone who super chatted. We'll be back next week, next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
regular time.
And,
okay, you're across the pond time.
Yeah, and 11 p.m. in across the pond time. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. Any last words there, Ardy?
New video out in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Someone, I forget exactly what his name was. He hit me up on YouTube and on X to let me know about a certain debate that really is just very tasty. And I have to get silly with it. So hopefully Sunday, maybe Monday.
And also, I've got an interview with Aidan Paladin about cultivation theory on my second channel. You might enjoy that. Cultivation theory is the sort of discussion of how much media you consume actually affect your actions. That was a lot of fun.
Very psychological. It gets pretty deep. It's nice. It's calming.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming, everyone. Good night.